지금 다운로드 받으세요.
We're back. As the screaming may let you know, it's Valdez with Wolf today. He's back from DreamHack. We've been having a bit of fun here for Group D, the Group of Death.
The Group of Death. And so far, it might be the death of some of our favorites. On the other hand, Super, someone who might actually get out and surprise people, is currently up 2-1.
Yeah, Super's doing fantastically, and I said it at the beginning of the day. This guy is just doing really well in Pro League specifically, taking out big titans and making it look easy. His PvP in particular is quite stellar. He's taken out both Hero and Zest, I believe. So, really looking good.
Yep. And if you look at this, Reality not having the best time, definitely taking some tough losses, but he's still in this. Anybody is in it until they get their 6th loss. That is the final straw. That's the death of a player in this group. 6 wins guarantees you a spot. 6 losses knocks you out.
Yep. So we're going to go into set number 13 on Frozen Temple for another PVT.
Target on my back, lone survivor last. They got me in the sights. No surrender, no trigger, fingers go.
We're back here on Frozen Temple for this PVT, and up in the top left in the red, it is Super.
And over here, the bottom right, in blue, his opponent, it is a Reality.
Reality really needs to step it up a little bit here, and up against Super, you know, he's not a Zest, he's not a Maru, he's not even a Hero, although he's looking a little bit better than Hero today, Super is. But this is a map that Reality needs to win. If he wants to have a good chance, a good shot going into the second half, he essentially needs this win against one of the quote-unquote weaker players in the group, even though Super is a really strong player.
True. I'm curious to see what Reality's going to do in this particular set, because in the previous set, his build looked just... On paper, it looks like a good idea, and maybe he can hit this timing with his stim and all of those Marines that got reactored out. This map, the rush distance feels a little bit longer than Sejong, and I just don't want to see that again. I don't think it really paid off. I think we are going to see Reactor go down on this barracks in just a minute, and we're going to see that factory come up, and it's going to be a more standard opening. Gas Steel, did not expect that. It's not the most impactful in this matchup, but I guess it's going to force Reality to respond.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. You know, it makes it a little bit harder to tech up, that's for sure. And back at home, he's just getting his own Nexus. Everything pretty standard across the board here. And we are just going to have these two players tech up.
Yep. One of the unique things about the Assimilator is actually that it has in total 900 hit points between the 450 and 450, making it the healthiest of all gas mining buildings. Both the refinery and I believe the extractor have 750 each, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me check that for you. 500.
500? Really? It's even that much?
For the refinery.
Whoa.
And yeah, 900 for...
Okay, well, I mean,
for the Assimilator.
The Assimilator has it's one of those structures that is built by, like, if you drop it with a probe, the probe just walks away too, so it just won't build on its own. Whereas, for example, the refinery requires the SCV to be there, so you can just kill the SCV in the middle of building it. So I guess that's why it has less health, because it's kind of the way the building works. If it had more health, it would take longer to build for the SCV to be there.
Assimilator OP, man.
Yeah, but you could I guess adjust the build time accordingly. But anyways. The Assimilator is used for gas steals, whereas the other structures are not as often. Sometimes you see the Zerg steal a gas, but usually that's denied. But it's just a cool thing you can do without even losing your probe or wasting any time, because the probe drops down. It has the most hit points of all the gases, so it's the most annoying to deal with. And you'll see, like, if a Zerg steals a gas, they'll cancel the drone repeatedly to get that extra hit points that you get from the start of it. And it's so cheap, it's only 25 minerals. Just giving you guys a basic overview of the gases, although I was wrong about the hit points on the refinery. I thought it was 750, but it's only 500. We get 400 less hit points than the assimilator, which, by the way, has shields which regen.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, I suppose you can repair the assimilator too, or not the assimilator, the refinery.
Very true.
But still not quite the same.
Not the same.
Yeah. And Super is playing a very straight-up game against Reality. I like this a lot. You're on a 2-player map. Just play it safe. Get your observers. Get your blink. A decently timed third base a little bit early. You know that your opponent is not going to put on too pressure from watching his games. Too much pressure. So,
or even too
really
pressure.
Like yeah. He's only going to put on one pressure.
One pressure.
Not two. Maybe even 0 pressure. Well, we do have this drop coming in, and it is pushed away. So far, 0 pressure.
So far, 0.
Yeah.
This observer will scout everything. Sees the double tech lab research, and this is going to be another super aggressive build out of Reality. And it seems to be that the success of Terran versus Protoss so far in this group and in recent times in Korea is the ability to do 2 base pressure and not take a third base. The meta has shifted in such a way that you really have to be super aggressive and hurt the Protoss rather than try to get ahead yourself. I think the main reason for that, summed up in one word, is adept. It's just so powerful, so versatile that it's really hard to defend 3 bases when you've got warp prisms flying around. Blink can do something similar, which we're about to see here in this particular game. Oops. Like freaks him out. He like just walks back. He's like, nah, I'm not even going to pressure anymore after that. Should be able to target this down before it goes off.
Ooh, nice target there with the probes. Just enough damage to take that out. Did not need an observer.
But with this, it buys a little bit more time for Reality versus the pressuring stalkers that are going to come across for him to build up this force to move across the map. If I'm not mistaken, he hasn't started combat shields, which is an issue.
Yeah.
Because he had 2 tech labs that he built early on, was not using those. So I'm a bit disappointed about that. There it is on the production tab, but it means he can't be as aggressive as quickly. It's still going to line up with his +1 attack. I mean, he could still be aggressive without combat shields with just the stem, but it would have been a lot more powerful if he had them both around the same time.
Liking the pressure here from Super, just poking a little bit with his Blink Stalkers. Going to force some of the energy off the medevacs, maybe snipe a unit or 2 before this push even comes down. And Reality is making that 3rd CC, but it's in the main, and Super's had his 3rd Nexus for quite a while.
By the way, Warp Prism coming in behind this, just down out of camera shot. Nicely placed turret. Cool scan here on this observer as well. Good eye by Reality to pick that off. Going to make his pushes a little bit harder to spot. The second observer will confirm that he's going around the right side, so he's going to get set up to defend that warp in at home instead of using that Warp Prism. Can always go back with it though.
Love the pylons all over the map, by the way. It really helps with spotting the drops that are coming in and making sure that he is safe, not taking damage.
When you're up against a 2-base Terran, which is kind of the way right now, this is just so important. It's worth the minerals that you have to spend to make these, even the pylon you're going to lose. This is not a large enough Terran force to contest this Protoss army, and the drop got shut down.
Super was blinking after that for a while, and, sniped some units, took some damage himself, but overall a good trade. And he's just not taking damage to his economy. I'm really worried for Reality. He's getting basically 0 damage done, and his 3rd base is so much later.
He's going advanced ballistics. Can you check where those tech labs are at that are being made? He's not making 2 tech labs for starports, right? I mean, I just got to check.
No, they're for the barracks in the main.
Okay. Well, it looks like 1 was for a barracks, 1 was for the second starport, so you can get the ballistics upgrade.
Yeah.
But I was like, whoa, battle cruisers, maybe, finally? No,
here we go. Reality's like, oh, I lost. I got to go battle cruisers.
Well, this is a very large Protoss force. He does have a decent amount of army units as well here with the medevacs. He's going to be able to hold this off, at least initially. A lot of SCVs will die in the process, but Super going for the warp in here. If that's canceled, he's going to lose a lot of units, and it is canceled.
Oh, he's got to blink away now. Kind of a folly attack there, I'd have to say. Not the best positioning. His Adepts actually could not fight.
Bad pathing on the Stalkers as well.
Oh boy. Protoss today, man, are just They're having some sloppy fights. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, man, our referee was getting a little bit hot and bothered by that moment. He was like, wow, that is like a bit awkward. And not in a good way. He was like, All right, there's the advanced ballistics upgrade, which looks much cooler on the tech lab itself than it does on the production tab. Much like the Resonant Glaives upgrade. I'm not going to get too deep into that.
You did your rant one time about that.
Yeah.
Not happy.
The other thing is the fact that Overlords drop Overlords still have a specific name to them. Okay.
Dropper Lords.
When an Overseer comes out, it's a detector and all that stuff. It's a transform, but at least it doesn't just say Overlord on it still with more eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, just one of those things that I personally would have not a big deal issue with, as much as it seems I do, but I want it to have its own name. Because Drop Overlord takes too long to say, and Droverlord sounds lame. I tried to make that work for a while, but no.
Droverlord. Well, Advanced Ballistics is going to be finished by the time that Liberator gets to the base. We'll see what kind of damage it can get done. I don't believe there's any kind of air units out for the Protoss just yet, no. So he's really going to have a rough time of dealing with that for a very long time. I don't even think he has a Stargate. No, he doesn't.
Nope. So the Observer can see it, I guess. He's got that going for him. Stalkers were very quick to respond as well. Speaking of nothing to defend, Reality didn't have his units in position here, and we'll chase that away now. Okay, he's putting this on as far back as he can get. In fact, I don't even think he can quite hit those middle patches. This one is just in range. And out of range of that. That was
nice overcharge. Not going to work.
Not going to be the answer. This Warp Prism getting chased down.
Yep.
Oh, he's in range here. It's funny, he's like barely in range of the probe line. He went a little bit too far away the first time, so he overcompensated and then was in Stalker range.
Yeah. Now he's just got to deal with that second Liberator at the natural. He hasn't lost too many probes, and he has a fourth base. So
yeah, so he's
kind of okay.
Yeah, he's like just not going to saturate those patches. He'll saturate the bases that he has that are free from the Liberators for now. I think we do have a drop coming up to the top right for Reality as well, and he's moving across the map. He's going to try to draw this Protoss army back, but it looks like Super wants to commit. There's the scan to scout this out. And don't forget, with the ballistics, he can also defend this from a much safer location. But here come the Stalkers on the left side. The CC is forced to lift. This is just still too much zoning, though, for Super to commit to.
Nice movement there to back out of the Liberation zones. I do like that. He needs more Stalkers. He's going to warp in 6 into his army. Nice little... Oh, this is actually really nice. He's getting a lot of economic damage done while the army of the Terran is at the front.
He's still going to attack into this, hoping the Stalker count he has is enough, but in fact it is not. This was like the wrong way to go about this.
Well, he's going to warp in again, and a lot of those Marauders are very low.
He needs to move the Liberators forward, and he does. You can see it right there on the ground. The Liberation zones are up here. Just kite back into those.
Oh, free Liberator.
Oops.
Just giving that away. More damage, or more harass rather, coming into the natural.
Yeah, what this is designed to do is to force the Terran to send some of his army back, and that's when you move forward. But actually, funny as it was, Reality just didn't deal with it at first. Then he fought into the full army of the Terran, and after he backed off, then Reality was like, oh, okay, I can deal with this.
I'd love to see Super just back off, get some other tech.
Yeah, it's
you know, he's a base ahead at this point. He's done tons of damage. Reality is down to 35 workers at this point.
It's like the only way he could lose this game is to lose his entire army taking a fight he doesn't need to take because he's massively ahead in the economy. But and yet I say that, and here we are.
He's actually doing okay.
Yeah, he barely has enough to make this an even fight, and there's a huge warping of sentries as he does have a huge surplus in gas, but it's still not enough. In Reality, is now doubling his army supply and can start to take out some of those bases while he gets more SCVs. He's making a planetary. That fourth base is getting up. He has mules, so I feel like you're exactly right. Like everything you just said is correct. Like if he just backed off, got better tech, and got tech to deal with the Liberators, it's almost a one game for sure, but instead he fought. The only weakness that Super had throughout these entire moments was no answer for the Liberators and an even army supply with the Terran. Wait until you're way ahead and you have the proper tech, and just use your better economy. Harass like he's been doing without fighting. Anyway, Super, he's still in this, and he does have a nice economy, but now there's an opportunity for Reality to get back into this game.
Yeah, a small one. I mean, he does take that fourth base, which is really nice. Oh, Warp Prism does go down with all 4 Adepts inside. And he is drawing that army over to the natural, so it looks like he wants to come in here. You don't want to blink into a planetary, not really going to work out.
Didn't look like he realized that was a planetary until he attacked into it. He still has almost double the workers, but he's losing more mining time at his natural to the Liberator. That base is almost mined out. And the Reality might be better suited to attack the base at the top right, or even go behind the Nexus that just got made, the 5th base, and actually kind of siege that up.
Yeah, definitely would like him to move it. And Reality is committing hard to the Liberators. He's got 6. He was making 4 at a time. And not all that many medevacs. He's got 5, which is like okay, but it's not all that great. Finally, a Phoenix comes out here and deals with the Liberator. And Super's transitioning into what looks like Colossi.
Yeah. I'm a bit disappointed Reality isn't doing more heavy pressure. It's like he's scared of the Adept run-bys, which is fair, but he's already lost so many SCVs that it's not like if 3 Adepts get into one of his mineral line, the game's going to be turned on its head. I feel like he had, and he still has a small one, enough army advantage to be doing more things like this, more aggressively, committing to this. Wipe these Nexi off the map after you won that fight that Super shouldn't have taken.
Yeah, this Nexus is so dead.
Look at how easy that was. Imagine if he had another army on the other side of the map killing the base that's towards the 9 o'clock. He'd be doing so much more.
If that were Maru in the booth, perhaps. Reality needs to take a page out of the Maru book, improve that multitasking, getting there. But no, it's a really big pickup, taking out that Nexus basically for free. He took like some tiny damage on one Marauder or something.
Okay, he's gonna commit to the fight here after he found those drops. This is kind of funny. Like, Reality's definitely gonna be caught off guard by this. There's a nice blink forward. This was a really strategic move. I like this a lot. He still gets a decent trade, but this means he doesn't have to worry about this pressure on the base that he actually was committing to taking right now. The weakness of this, though, is all of his units are out of position for another attack by Reality. He could have been doing this earlier, but he now decides to commit to it. He's going to have +3. Super's +3, almost done. His +3 armor nearly done as well. So I believe it's 3-2 to the 2-2 for just a few more seconds. Thermal Lance nearly completed as he double expands. Those 2 Nexi being remade. Or, well, I guess the one being remade. The second one just finally finishing to the top right. He saved it earlier.
Yeah, and Super, he's got a very interesting composition. I think he's got like 9 sentries in there. Yeah, exactly 9.
Yeah, he did.
Not going to be great against Liberators.
He did a big warping of those earlier in the fight, you know. I was like a bit surprised by that. He had a gas surplus, but still.
Also, there's a lot of Marauders in here, so they've got that extra range. Going to help out against any kind of force field shenanigans. But Super taking it very slow, now 2 Colossi at a time. Still not much to deal with the 11 Liberators in the sky. He's going to rely on blinks here with his 14 Stalkers, which is a really good number to deal with it, but you need to get into position too, and it's really hard when they have this range.
Look at that Terran army, it's so huge. Where's the Storm? You know, he doesn't have that. Like, Colossi are great in this matchup. We saw a resurgence of them recently, but still, I think you want to have both. He's had such a large amount of eco lead for so long, and he's just now relying on Colossi alone. And, you know, even with Thermal Lance, when you have extended ballistics or advanced ballistics, the Liberators are just going to deal with your Colossi, not because of their anti-air attacks, but their air-to-ground attacks are going to do decent versus your Colossi.
Yeah, and here we go. Oh, Super was thinking about it, but he did not commit.
You know, he just can't even walk near this. Like, oh man, he's getting so zoned so hard, and now he's going to commit to this. But look, the amount of damage he does to Liberators is so insignificant. By the time Reality gets back, he's just dead. Like, this is like...
This army melted in an instant. Everything just goes down.
Today we learned that Super doesn't know how to deal with ranged Liberators.
Yeah, it's looking like it. He's having crazy amounts of trouble today dealing with this in this game, and that's definitely something that Maru can take note of, that Reality can take note of for their next game in the second half, and use that to their advantage. Would not be surprised to see Reality play a very similar style in their next game.
Yeah, this game is over. Super lost all of his expensive units. He's on 1 mining base, which is scouted, and he's now just moving towards this base.
It's not even made, man. It's like... still just a baby Nexus.
I guess you're right. I mean, that base, yeah, it's not even completed. This base is not really mining. This isn't the base I was referring to. I was referring to the one at the 9 o'clock, which is about to be refinished. And look, Liberators beat this army.
GG. That's going to be it. Reality taking a game here off a Super who was looking quite good, actually, before this game.
I feel like, and that's another away win, by the way, but I feel like the obvious choice was Tempests, but he was scared that he was going to lose his bases after he took that one wrong fight. I think the obvious choice was to not fight there, keep doing Adept Harass, and go Tempest, but instead he did the opposite of everything I just said while I write
just
this down.
What we were saying during the game. You took a fight. It went well, or, with the Adepts. You killed a lot of SCVs. Back off, defend your bases so they can't be sniped. Tech up. There's not much he can do in terms of fighting. You can hold on until enough Adepts come out, or not Adepts, Tempests, to deal with the Liberators, and then you take another base, and then what is the Terran going to do? Take it late game. It seemed like he was almost, he had a lack of confidence in a way. He was just like, I'll just go Colossi. This is easy to control, and just did not really work out. He was facing mainly Marauder Liberator, and Colossi are just not good against that.
No, terrible, in fact. So, I mean, it was like the